Hello, everybody. This is my attempt to adapt Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life into advice for younger students, middle school through high school and even into college. It got a little bit long, so I broke it into a number of segments. If you want to look at the rest, just take a look at my channel and enjoy. All right, rule 9. Assume the person you are listening to might know something you don't. Boy, howdy, is this important. Now, they might know something you don't. That doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that there may be something else that you haven't taken into account. All right? Now, the part of this one that is a problem is it can be misused, okay? So you'll see people in your life who essentially, they are willing to take advantage of this by essentially trying to shut you down emotionally. So essentially, like you advance an opinion, even gently. How could you? You're a bad person because you believe this. You're wrong. No, 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 no. My way, my way, my way, my way. Oh, God. Well, that's not a person you can really talk to. They may know something you don't, but you can't get it out of them without, maybe some deep mining equipment or a gag and some time to think. And the gag may be for one of you or the other or both, But those emotionally driven people who are trying to shut you down and dominate you, those are the people where it's like tell the truth, or at least don't lie really covers. When you get someone to really talk from the heart about stuff that they know, that they're a specialist in, those are people who can teach you really interesting stuff, and that's a good place to be. Now, there's a problem we have. In today's society, people are so polarized, they don't want to hear it. So what do? You go looking. You go very carefully, tell a little bit of the truth to people, a little bit, just a little, and then see how they react, and then tell a little more, and then encourage them to tell you a little more back. And if they're willing to tell you a little back, now you've got something. Now you can talk to each other up a little bit, and over time you build that up. Those are the people who are like gold because they're willing to say truth, even if that truth disagrees with you. And here's the thing. A lot of times you'll have someone who's willing to talk to you and you'll feel that truth and you'll have this emotional no in your gut. Yeah. You know what that means? That means it's something you need to hear. You might not agree with it. It might be largely wrong, but there's something in there you need to think about and respond to because this isn't assume that the person you're listening to might know everything you don't. Assume they might know something. And maybe it's just one thing, but it's something that's important and you got to work to get to it. And if you're having a conversation where basically both people are sort of on the edge of that honesty, right? They're putting themselves out there, making themselves vulnerable intellectually, emotionally. Oh, that's good. That's good. But just understand one other thing in today's society, especially, don't violate that confidence, okay? This is one of those things where a careless word of someone else's beliefs in this society can really hurt them. So your job is to explore and look for truths, but it's also, frankly, to keep that confidence. If you can share what they've learned, you may not want to attribute it to them, or you may ask them first. That's a fundamental component of maturity and honesty. Or you might bring someone else into the conversation, right? But this is one of the things where you want to be careful because you want to listen. You want to take what you can, even from a person who's totally emotionally manipulative. Sometimes you can get something useful. But what you want to be careful of is you don't open yourself up to being essentially destroyed by people who aren't interested in truth. They're just interested in power and in an ideology like CRT or critical race theory or feminist theory, queer theory, critical theory in general. Socialism sometimes is used this way. Religion can be used this way. Let's not just bash on people on the left. Evangelicals can do this all day sometimes. The problem is right now they're kind of, at least at this juncture in time, they're kind of discredited because of some excesses in their own past that are currently being used against them. But that doesn't mean that they won't be coming back and doing this stuff in another 10 years. They might well. The pendulum swings after all. So when you run into people who are using emotional means to shut down the conversation, listen to them. But again, remember, these guys aren't your friends. The people who are willing to make themselves vulnerable and, you know, share something with you like that, they're much closer to a friend. So understand and respect those conversations. They're like gold. Don't, you know, and these days they have to be had carefully, respectfully, and quietly. And if you can, by the way, one of the ones that I would also point out, and I'm not good at this, so this is something I'm telling you to learn because I know I need to learn it and I suck at it, which is for the other person's point of view, if you can, try to see if you can restate it in such a way that they would agree with your restatement. There are some philosophies out there where you literally can't do that very well, if that makes sense, because it's inherently built on deception and it's built on playing with definitions of things, and those you need to stay away from because they're built on a lie. It's very hard to find truth. But even from those people, you can learn something, even if it is that their philosophy does not work and should be avoided at all costs, like it is the most caustic acid. That's something you can learn. Just be careful not to teach them something that might make them destroy you in the process, okay? Boy, this school, I'll tell you one thing, school wasn't like this when I was there. I'll just tell you that right now. We could have some of these conversations. Nowadays we can't. It's depressing. But on the other hand, maybe we can have these here. That's sort of the thought. All right, rule 10, be precise in your speech. This one is important partly in view of rule 9, which is if you're going to learn something, you know, and someone's going to learn something from you, you need to be very precise as to what you're trying to tell them. Because if you're sloppy in your language, it's an issue. Now, I realize also this is an issue for students, and this is something that people struggle with, I mean, all the way through, honestly, up through college. I mean, I had professors who reamed me for it. God only knows. And I'm pretty good at it, and I was pretty good at it when I got to college. But I had professors who reamed me for it. Be precise in your speech. And it's not just your speech to others, by the way, and I'll get into that. But one of the struggles that we see starting in freshman year of high school and even beyond in middle school is write enough. All right, write enough. Get enough out there to really elucidate your meaning. The next step is then to narrow it down, to use only the words you need to describe your meaning and be as precise as possible. Have you ever known someone who, when you asked them what was wrong, went, I don't know? How useful was that, right? Chocolate teapot time. So what do we want to do with people like that? Well, we have a problem, which is they may not know what the problem is. So I don't know, maybe accurate, or maybe they do know, but are afraid to tell you. Well, that'd be nice for them to say. Or maybe they know part of it, but don't know all of it. Well, this would also be nice to say, but if they're imprecise, we can't figure out what the heck's going on with them as friends. Another thing, and this is just from a personal teacher point of view, just my own pet peeve. So take this for what it's worth. I've had students who will just, when I ask, you know, an open-ended question on something, they'll just sort of throw out word salad and throw out a whole bunch of buzzword bingo in the hopes that they answer the question sufficiently because they have no clue. And they're hoping that I may be able to give them a point or two because, oh my God, I'm so sick of reading this stuff. Just take a point and just get out of my face. As opposed to what that really deserved, which is, you have no idea what you're talking about. I can't give you a point. What is this? Right? Please don't do that to your teachers. This is a skill that you actually need to develop. So learn to be precise, okay? This goes all the way up through college, trust me. But the other place you need to be precise is in your speech with your friends when you're describing your problems. Be precise. When you want them to describe their problems, help them be precise, because a problem that you precisely understand is one you can fix, all right? And also be precise when you talk to yourself. I know, I'm talking to myself, but it's not that bad until I start answering back, right? Well, in this case, the problem is when you talk to yourself, you implicitly are having a kind of conversation. You're telling yourself a problem. But within that is an implicit solution or lack of. So listen to the difference between these particular phrases. You know, you're coming across maybe a complicated problem in like chemistry or math. I don't know this, or I don't understand this. Is that precise? Maybe, but is it precise enough? How about, I don't understand this, but I will if I work enough on it. I don't understand this, but I'm going to see if the textbook has a solution. I don't understand this, but maybe there's an answer on YouTube. I don't understand this, so I'm going to email the professor or ask the professor for help or go to office hours. Do you see the difference? One is, I can't do this. The other is, I can't do this right now, but there are ways. There are ways that I am capable, that I can figure out how to solve this. Look at that. That kind of precision, that kind of way of using language to define your problems and also define the solutions in the same time, to find what you can try. Understand. That is valuable to you. Because when you are precise in your speech with yourself in that way, when you start to say, I have a solution, or I know that there might be a way I can find one, when you put that in your self-talk, you start to become the person who has those solutions. And that is a good part of maturation, a good part of growing up, is to becoming the person who has the solution so other people don't have to feed them to you like a child, right? To be the person who can handle that. And being precise in your speech with yourself is one of those things that's really important. I don't know, but maybe this is a problem. I don't know my problems, but maybe it's this. I don't know, but maybe it's related to X, Y, Z. Any of those is better than, I don't know. I don't understand. I can't do this. Be precise in your speech to others and with yourself.